Storm Dara's got a real hold of me. Before you ask, the jumper zip is from Obey. Who's messaging me? It's from Obey. It's lovely. It's Christmassy. It's comfortable. Love it, babe. Hope all is well. Welcome to the second instalment of the Q&A. I felt bad. A lot of questions come in on the previous one, and I don't want people to feel left out, so we can cover those questions that we missed out in this one and keep it within the construct of about 10 questions, so we're not taking too much of your time, because I know how pressure it is. It is. Excuse me, I can't speak today. I'm excited. I've got my first Warzone victory, solo. I beat the sweats, the little fat virgins, little 12-year-olds. No match for TM Cycles. I'm also doing this before Arsenal Fulham, because I thought if Arsenal lose, then I'm going to be very demotivated and sad, and I don't want to do a Q&A. So we're doing it before. Let's jump straight into the question, shall we? Susanna, hi. Could you please provide any feedback on Oura? Is it good to track bodybuilding sessions? I am a big Oura fan. It's my favourite tracking device to date. I've had a couple of different Garmins. I've had Whoop a couple of times. I didn't get on with Whoop. Whoop was like the aesthetic. It was on my wrist. It was like clunky. I thought I've got something on I feel like I'm on tag. It's on my wrist and I can't tell the time. I didn't like the traffic light system it gave you, because psychologically I think it sometimes impacted my day to day. You know, if you wake up and think, I feel brilliant, red, oh brilliant, my day's going to be over. Whereas this is a little bit more subtle, gives you a percentage, 80, 85, which I try and shoot for each night. Got one more night tonight, Sunday and tomorrow, then I've got a clear week of 85s. Result, huge fan. HRV, VO2, I mean, if you want to get your VO2 max, I wouldn't rely upon an Oura, but it's nice of them to include it, I suppose. The user interface is brilliant. Big fan. Fantastic for steps as well, which is handy. You know, you can customize your interface to show what you want to see. It's a big TM Cycles thumbs up for the Oura. So we've got Christmas in a couple of weeks. Maybe get it on the list too. SWP Fitness 93 tips for starting off in the fitness space. Online/PT. Be unapologetically yourself, my friend. Don't feel like you need to conform to the top crema of content creator. We've spoken before about Austin Kleon's Still Like an Artist, which is a brilliant read. There is weight to there's weight to copying what some of the top individuals are doing, but then putting your own spin on it as well. But don't break out into the space and think you need to start creating content like how to do a seated hamstring curl. You know, be realistic with yourself. Are people going to want to listen to someone that has just qualified and is new into the space when it comes down to biomechanics and exercise? Or are we going to go to the hypertrophy coaches, the Team 3D MJs, the Dr. Mike Israel's? Probably that. So then that gives you and opens the opportunity to tell us about your journey. How have you got to the position that you're in today? Do you have any future physique development or strength-based or performance-based targets and goals for these next 6, 8, 10, 12 months? And document it. You know, there's going to be a level of being a bit of a yes man when you start in the game. The net is to be quite wide, and then as you begin to stack up year on year, that net begins to get slightly more narrow, and you can choose. There, Mr. Kipchoge, Vitamin N. Great podcast with Dr. Ranjan Chatterjee and Eliud Kipchoge. And he says to Eliud, have you got any advice? And he says, yeah, make sure you have vitamin N. And the doctor's sitting there thinking, I'm a doctor, I don't know what that vitamin is. I know what vitamin C, E, D, vitamin N. And Kipchoge says, learn to say no. I love saying no. I think it's brilliant. But when I first started in the space, there was a bit of being a yes man into the client base and getting your name out there. But you can still be a yes man and stay true to yourself. You really can. So become a sponge. We've spoken about this before. Leveraging with your level 3 PT certificate is not good. You know, don't put that in your bio and think that's something to be proud of. We could all probably do the level 3 PT qualification in a couple of days if we studied for it. That is a drop in the ocean of knowledge that you can gain. And as you begin to progress throughout your career, start to feed back. You know, what type of clientele do I like to work with? You know, do I like working with women? Do I like working with younger lads? Do I like working? There's so many different opportunities for you out there. So hope that answers your question, SWP Fitness 93. Born in the same year as me, you absolute legend. JTF_coaching. 2025, what are the goals? A great question. I haven't really been like much of a goals driven kind of guy. You know, when people ask me on podcasts my 5-year plan, I'll tell you what my 5-year plan is now. Farmhouse and a Range Rover Defender. More materialistic. I'm in my farmhouse era at the moment. A good old cabin. I love it. 2025, my goals are to push a little harder on the socials. I think have more planning in place. I'm very ad hoc when it comes down to content creation, and working with what we said in the previous Q&A about segmenting certain times whereby we push and pull a little bit, especially when we've got the Content Creation Academy next year. So just a little tightening of the socials, a bit more drive in that space, experiment with a few new things. I'd say that are my goals. That's my goals, mate. I know it's very, it's not quite what you got. They're my goals. Hope that's okay with you. Andrew, what is health and what is sustainable to you? Why do you do what you do? I love this question. That's a great question, Andrew. It really is. And that's coming from someone that has put his body through periods whereby we're not healthy. You know, I look back at my 10 years of bodybuilding and using anabolic steroids. And how many years have I taken off my life? Who knows? We try as best as possible when we're on cycle to mitigate these side effects, certain supplementation, blood work, heart scans, food, although food at certain times during off seasons may not be considered that healthy. So I'd say the reason why I do what I do today in terms of being quite strict on my routine and my health supplementation and my food and my sleep and training is because I'm trying to almost claw back the years that I may have lost. So that is my why. Health and sustainability. I feel like bodybuilders watching this, and I think what's really nice about having this channel for such a long time is that there may be people that have watched me at the very beginning and gone through quite a similar journey to myself. And I think we can all agree, bodybuilding, if you're not looking to push those higher ranks, become pro, it has a shelf life. And you get to a kind of crossroads. And I had one with Callum back in that 2021 prep, and he was like, look, we've still got a fair amount of fat to go. You've got the option here to take DMP, which is a drug that I just really didn't want to take. I always in the back of my mind had that kind of like, how badly do I want to be this bodybuilder? And I don't think I want to be it as bad as to the detriment of using certain compounds. So I've always been quite smart and calculated when it comes down to that. But health to me now is good nutrition, it's good sleep. You know, it's it's like a flex nowadays, isn't it? It's a flex to eat on the chopping board, and it's a flex to get up early and be driven and have good cognitive function and be able to perform. And I think the ability for me now to run, which I never thought I'd be able to do, and getting back in the pool and getting back on the bike, that to me is true health. You know, feeling happy within myself, feeling content, understanding a lot more about myself as well. That kind of that self-exploration journey I would throw into the mix of that being very healthy, spiritually awakened and very conscious too. I would consider that as healthy. So this is very much sustainable. This life that I lead right now is very sustainable. I live it, I breathe it, I love it. I live with a marathon runner, Josh, who is also equally as determined to continue to better himself, which is brilliant. And to have that in the house with you on a day-to-day basis is priceless. It really is. You know, it gives me the drive sometimes when I wake up and I think, you know, he's got Malaga Marathon, he's trying to go for a 2:45. Get yourself into that gym. You know, I don't want to let him down in some sort of weird way. I don't want to let the house down, you know. So I'd say that's what is health to me right now, my friend. Fens, something I've never seen you cover. What fragrances do you use daily and going out? Here are my fragrances. So my daily drivers, I'm a Joe Malone man. Mir and Tonka's brilliant, Joe Malone. But I'm into the pomegranate noir. I like a pomegranate noir. Oh, that's lovely. That pomegranate. Some geezer had it in the cinema years ago. I said, "What are you wearing?" He said, "John Malone pomegranate noir." So I grabbed the bottle. Very, very nice. But that or Mirror and Tonka is really good. And then as I was paying at Massimo Dewey, a little bit slow at Massimo. Maybe it's a market employee to get you to buy the fragrances because it worked. That's a nice one. Blonde Vanilla. I like a Tom Ford Tobacco Vanilla, but I feel like it's a little bit of bait, you know? That's nice, that is. Blonde Vanilla, Massimo Dewey. The Zara smellies are great. The Zara smellies are, I wouldn't say they're underrated because I think everyone's clocked onto them now, but they are brilliant. I just feel like they don't linger for too long. And then my going out, my out smelly, Penhaligon's. Ooh, that's a good one. Penhaligon's Changing Constants. That's a strong smell, that is. I like an oud. There's a good shop up in Oxford Street that does all the kind of Arabic smells that is pungent. Is that good? Pungent's not a negative word, is it? I mean it in a positive if it is a negative. Stings the nostrils. Name that film, I'll give you £10. They're my smellies, mate. That is what we are running with at the moment. Jack Christie, on the fence with starting a cycle. How do I know if it's for me? Not wanting to compete. Jack, I'm going to be honest with you, mate. I've just zoomed into your profile picture and you got that, you're smacking that open shirt look. You look like you're at a festival having a good time. You might be someone that partakes in recreational drug usage, alcohol. You can see where I'm coming from. Is taking your body through a process in which you shut down your natural testosterone, potentially increase the risk of never getting your test levels back, affecting fertility, all for the sake of what? Maybe looking a little bit better at a festival. I would say don't do it, my friend, especially if you're not wanting to compete. You know, I can only say what I can say, and I have clients that are stubborn almost, that really do want to experiment, and I look at their lives and I think, you know what, you optimize pretty much every aspect of it, then sure, we can discuss it. But I'm only really in the sort of position whereby I feel comfortable speaking to people about taking anabolics and putting their body through that when they are doing it for a real reason, like stepping on stage. So that's my short, sharp and simple and sweet from me there, Jack. I hope I haven't just baited you out either. His name's not Jack, it's John. Imagine if I got him fired. Monday. We saw that Team Cycles video. Yeah, you're sacked. Don't ever think about it. TF Bradders. At what income level did you start to feel financially secure? Excuse me. It's a great question because the goalposts of that security change. You know, I look back at when I was in GNC, I was working for Luke and I had my online coaching. I was thriving because my overheads, my outgoings were tiny and I was churning a fair amount in. And then when you start to go down that bit of a materialistic route and you start to klarna a load of things, and yeah, I'll put that on the monthly, the motor, this and that, then it starts to shrink again. You think, ooh, don't feel very safe here. So it kind of ebbs and flows, kind of peaks and troughs that security to income. But I would say since jumping into the world of self-employment, I was very scared. When I first stopped working for Luke, because I was with Luke for a couple of years, Monday to Friday, you know, it was paying me a good chunk, about 1,900 quid, I think it was, and I was still coaching. And then when I stopped working for Luke, I lost that security, that blanket, that safety net. And I thought, God, I'm in this open world on my own, this world of self-employment. But I remember that first month, I think I got the same amount of clients that plugged the gap between what I was earning. I thought, brilliant. So I'd say probably since like 2015, maybe, is when I've felt secure. You know, I'm very secure now and extremely grateful, but I look back at what I've done over these last 12 years and there's a reason as to why I'm in the position that I'm in today. So, yeah, I'd say since 2005, I'm still very smart with my money. You know, even when more money comes in, more focus is on investment over here, stocks and shares, savings, this, that, ISAs, etc. So I'm a little bit mature now. I obviously went through my 20s and would get a large amount of money come in and kind of adopted that McGregor approach of what did he say? I have an unhealthy obsession with spending it, but a healthy obsession with making it. So there's a little bit of that. Sometimes I used to like bleeding myself dry because it meant that you've got to turn on now. You've got to switch on. So, yeah, I'd say since about 2005. And in terms of numbers, it don't really matter because, like I said, it changes. It can go up and down. Probably the most comfortable I felt was when I was living at home, obviously, and had that money coming in. And then when the member site was built as well, that was a very comfortable period of my life. But that comfortability also led to me having a bit of a demise psychologically because I lost the plot a little bit. You know, I became this very money hungry individual, and you know, I'd make a 20 grand month, and then I'd make 17, and I'd think, oh, that's it, I'm a failure. So yeah, getting out of that headspace was needed. Ben, you probably had this before. As a 20-year-old, what would you say to your 20-year-old self? I wouldn't say nothing, Ben. I wouldn't say a damn thing, because it's very easy for us like 30-year-olds to sit here and give advice to you lot as 20-year-olds. But then you lose the understanding as to why you're doing it. How I act today is a byproduct of how I acted when I was 20. That's so important. There needed to be recklessness. There needed to be materialism. There needed to be breakdown in relationships. There needed to be being unfaithful. There needed to be certain things in my life at 20 that allowed me to become the man I am today in 30. So sorry that we're not padding that question out as much as you'd like to have hoped it to get padded out, but it's nice and simple. There's nothing I'd change at all. There really isn't. I don't think there ever should be. You know, people on podcasts that say, I changed X, Y, and Z about myself. But it's like, yeah, but that's because it's hindsight. You know, you're in the position you are today to be able to say that I want to change this about myself. How long are we going on here for? I don't want it to cut out again. We might have to put a little in. Should we do that now? Let's do that now. I can have a good old chug on the vape. Remember at the start of this video when I said that I wouldn't do the Q&A after the Arsenal game? Well, I realised I didn't have enough time to answer the last two questions, so I watched the game, and now we drew, and demotivated and upset. Arteta got to be careful. He needs a trophy this season. It's Liverpool's, isn't it? Should we get back to the questions? Got last two. One from Avi. All right, Avi. What's that from? Hello, Avi. Lockstock. Any regrets this year? Yeah, I do have a regret, mate. You look like a female. You are. Well, you are a mate. Just don't feel comfortable talking to you as if you're a bloke, you know? I do have a regret. My regret is not understanding sooner that there are differentiating opinions and ways to deal with certain issues and topics. Look, I'm a very straight and narrow kind of guy. If there's an issue, I feel like the only person that can fix that issue is me, and then I turn the noise off either side. Maybe it's because I'm an only child, I don't know, but I'm working on it. And I think that goes for my stance when we had that whole ultra processed food debacle. You know, my stomach was bad, started eating like this, stomach became good again, and then I tried to impose my opinion and view on everyone else's, and it's not the right mindset or way to handle things. And I apologise, I hold my hands up. I'm maturing, I'm still growing, so I hope you can accept my apology. But that's what we're noticing in the fitness industry. We are noticing coaches take offence at how other people live their lives. That's what I'm finding. You know, you might have a content creator that says, I've quit sugar. And then you get one of the flexible coaches go, why? Why have you quit sugar? You're allowed to have it. No, I just feel better, my digestion, sex drive, you know, my mood. Eat the Kit Kat. You're causing an eating disorder. I don't think I am. I just quit sugar. Got into a bit of back and forth through with Josh Hill's nutrition. He blocked me. Sad times. 2024, the year we lost the ability to debate. The irony, eh? Bloke who calls out multiple creators gets challenged and then blocks that person. I think what happened was he was doing a video about, and I've got to also understand that when we do have these discussions, we've got different demographics, right? My set of clientele is probably different to his set of clientele, and I have to bear that in mind. But there are some instances where demographic don't matter. But I think he tried to rip apart a creator who said, look, there's an increase in social events this Christmas, here's how to manage your food. Perfectly acceptable piece of content. Maybe the geezers was a little extreme because he said no carbs, or like have a protein shake before you go out, or I don't know. But I basically said, when did manipulating calories within the given day constitute as an eating disorder? Block. I thought, oh, that's a shame. But yeah, my regret is being a little bit stubborn. Like I said, I'm working on it, and I apologise if I caused offence to anyone in the past. Come around for Christmas dinner, I'll make it up to you. Final question from Alejandro. Thoughts on the whole body positive movement eye roll? Now, judging by that question, what I can identify from that question is that you're asking me what my thoughts are on overweight people who are promoting body positivity, to which I think it's a load of bollocks. Utter bollocks. I mean, like, let's just get real for a second, because there's plenty of creators out there that are quite clearly very unhealthy. Firstly, I'm all for body positivity, right? But when it comes at a detriment to your own health, then you got to start asking questions. You really do. And also, you got to understand, I like tick body gal. Yeah, I like porgs. Well, like one porg. I like one. Hello? You right, babe? Yeah, no, I meant you. Yeah, no. Yeah, you. All right then. Cheers. Love you, babe. Nearly in the doghouse then. I like tick body gal. There's a difference between thick and overweight. Is there? Discuss. But yes, I agree with the eye roll. I think we need to wake up a little bit. And I think that's all fueled by the whole lefty, woke, liberalist, blue-haired, I identify as a fucking dolphin lot that have almost opened the gates for people to believe that it's acceptable to look a certain way. Not in my eyes, not in my opinion. I think it's sad, because what we're seeing is an explosion in overweight creators who are fat. Something's happened. And we have to handle this with a little bit of care, don't we? Because there's been a reason as to why they've overeaten. Trauma response as a child or young adult, I don't know. But what's happened is these people maybe don't feel very connected, or don't feel there's a lot going for them. Then they start creating content on social media and they blow up, right? Because their diet is abhorrent. It's terrible. Becky Jones, I think her name is, on TikTok. Very overweight girl. So now they're in a position where they're getting almost validated through their poor eating habits. And now they're in this difficult decision of like, well, I've got to keep doing it. I'm addicted to the food. I'm addicted to the food, and I'm also addicted to the fact that I'm now getting engagement from it. And then and it's a little bit rage baity. Like, we know what rage baiting is nowadays. It's a very successful tool to use. Jack's Fit does a bit of rage baiting. I don't like it. Rage baiting being, if I say an inflammatory comment that I know is incorrect, I'm going to get a whole host of engagement and comments on it, which is further going to drive my piece of content to the top. It's like clickbait, basically. But yeah, I think it's really sad. And the whole body positivity thing, you've got to look what's happening right now. You look at the autoimmune disorders, the gastrointestinal issues, the psychological implications of eating poor, the diabetes, the obesity. There's nothing positive about being overweight. All the battery lights flashing. I've got to wrap this up quick, ladies and gents. I really do. So that's my stance on it. It's a load of bollocks. Get real. But I suppose we've got to then be kind and caring and mindful before we say that. But hey, that's my opinion on it. I'm gonna love you and leave you because I don't know when this battery light's gonna stop flashing, and I don't want to just cut out. So hope you're all enjoying your December. I most certainly am. Feeling very Christmas at the moment. Sorry, the last question was wrapped up quickly. I'm sure we could deep dive into it a lot more, but I'm gonna love you and leave you. Thank you. As always, good night and much love. Sorry, just a quick one to add into that, because I've just sat down and edited that video and I'm thinking about the whole body positivity thing, where things like cellulite and rolls, absolutely cushy, mate. Can't beat a bit of cellulite. Do you know what I mean? It's normal. Oof. Same as rolls. It's just part. But you know what I'm getting at here. I'm talking about the overweight people. What I'm not talking about is the quite very clearly lean females that are desperately trying to seek engagement by doing the whole normal, not normal, this is me too, I desperately want to have rolls. Don't do that. You're an idiot. But when we're looking at like normal bodies, yeah, great. As I said, thick body gal, porgs. Quite a lot of porgs do have cellulite. Big thumbs up in my opinion. That's all for me.